We've already been streaming in our minds for the last 5 at least minutes.
Yes, exactly.
We thought that we were live, and it turned out we weren't.
Yep, but we were just practicing.
Well, did it go okay?
Went all right. I didn't like the way it kind of started, but you know.
It was kind of a weird opening. That's true.
Yeah, we'll fix it. We'll fix it.
All right,
this
we'll get it in
time,
post.
so.
All right.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to talk about up here. We're going to talk about BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle. We're going to talk about Dragon Ball Summit of Power voting. We're going to talk about some new events that have been announced. We're going to talk about some other news, including a new game that's been announced. But first, let's begin with BB Tag.
That's right. I personally haven't had a chance to play it all that much. I've only downloaded it on the Nintendo Switch because it's free there. I didn't have to pre-order it, and it was just convenient. I was just lying on the couch, and it's like, here we go. Unfortunately, playing fighting games on the Switch controller is not very good, especially because you have to kind of battle between analog and the 4 little buttons there, and the analog controller is really not that great.
I don't think it's a good controller overall.
Yeah, it's not. It's not the greatest thing, especially for fighting games. I remember when I tried playing Ultra Street Fighter 2, that just didn't work very well at all. Like, I couldn't do short super with Ken.
Oh, no way. No way.
Not on either of the controllers, right?
No way, dude, yeah.
So, you know, playing BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle was a little weird. I do have a PlayStation 4 converter thing that I just was too lazy to hook up at the time, but I haven't had a chance to mess with it. I went through the tutorial.
Okay.
And obviously used that as a training mode for a bunch of times. I did not know about the Yukiko tech yet.
What's the Yukiko tech?
So you play versus mode, and she has a move that can heal herself.
Oh, it's the healing. That makes
so
sense.
you just put yourself at infinite timer and 2-player mode, and you just sit there and heal her all day.
That's good tech. That's good tech.
You can use that as a fake training mode.
Okay.
So,
my training mode was to play against Tager and Wald, who have the most health in the game. So
okay.
But that's better for sure.
Yeah.
So I played a ton of it.
Okay.
I played it a lot. I was grinding it for sure, both in training mode and also on the internet. I played online a bunch. It's a demo. It's no longer, you can't play it online anymore.
Did they stop that already?
I mean, I tried
That's right,
yesterday.
It stopped today, yes.
I tried, really? Because I tried yesterday and it
Oh, really? Oh,
maybe it was just.
I thought it stopped today. Okay.
You might be right, but I signed on last night, all excited about playing, and I couldn't sign on. I was like, no! Anyway, so it was, as James said, free to try if you wanted to. But you could also just pre-order it, and if you pre-ordered it, then you got to use all of the characters that will be there at launch in the demo. So I pre-ordered it because I'm intending to play it anyway, but also I really wanted to play Tager, Walds, and New. And in order to do that, I had to pre-order the game.
Okay,
so
gotcha.
that was kind of my thought process, but I was pretty sure I would end up liking it, so I I did pre-order it on the PlayStation. I love it.
Okay.
To just boil it down to one little sentence, I really enjoy it. It has this excellent mix of a lot of the things that I want in a fighting game. It has very interesting characters to me, not just in how they look and their personality and whatever, which to me is secondary. Although I do think that they have that, but in terms of options, they picked a set of characters that I feel like they have really different options. They picked characters who have like some of the more wild options in their respective games. And so when you put them all together, I feel like they're like a really good cast. I really like the offensive and defensive options, both of them, because there are lots of offensive options. Like, it's really pretty crazy on offense. But at the same time, the push block is full screen. You are out of there for sure. Like, there's no more pressure.
And you can even punish whiffs too.
And you can punish it.
Right. Well, I mean, not even punish the push block.
I'm sorry.
Right. You can push someone away, and if they chain, they whiff, and then you can go and punish them.
That happened to me.
Oh,
so I was like, wow, all right.
Okay.
Definitely. There's a burst mechanic where you get out and you bring your second character in. So there are these defensive tools. At the same time, that offense is pretty wild. The way that the assist system works is to me a really good mix between, Marvel Infinite, where it's just constant switching, and maybe like a Marvel 3 where it's not constant. It's definitely an assist, not just like the next character, but you can and maybe even a little bit of Skullgirls in there because each character has multiple assists. So rather than having just like the one assist that you pick at the start of the round, it's like you actually have access to a few different tools from your assist character. And then once you do bring in the assist, you have the option of then canceling into that assist. So that now that's your point character. So there's this mix of, you know, it's definitely an assist, but you can turn it into the point super quickly. I really like that. I think that makes for a lot of crazy options, crazy setups, crazy movement. Speaking of movement, there's no regular walking with the exception of characters who, like Tigger walks.
Yeah.
Like,
there's just one forward movement option. You either walk or you dash, and most characters dash.
Most characters dash. Waldstein does have walk. And he dashes also. You have to input dash. But that's, as far as I can tell, only those weirdos. Right? In general, you're dashing or you're running or whatever it is. So that's a little bit funky. But other than that, you know, you got the air dashing. You have I like the way that the movement works because it's fast for everybody. They even sped up Tager's walk.
Right.
You know, he walks faster.
Even like, it doesn't even feel like the anime games that have the like, even though you can double jump and stuff like that, it still feels very horizontal.
I agree.
Right? Because like, I don't think the screen scrolls like that. I think
you're right.
I don't think it has that kind of stage height thing. It's just extra air movement options in a horizontal space, which I thought was kind of interesting.
I think the space kind of feels more like maybe Undernight space, where it's you're not like way up on the top of the screen. You do have air options, but it's like just the one kind of forward movement thing. It's definitely a mix of all of their games, you know, but at the same time, it's definitely Arxis' take on the Versus system. So, you know, when Dragon Ball was announced, I think a lot of people thought that would be Arxis' take on the Versus system, which it is in a sense. It certainly has assists, teammates, and stuff, but it's much less like a Marvel Infinite, and Dragon Ball is much less like a Marvel Infinite, and maybe more like a Marvel 2 or something like that. Whereas this game is a lot more like a mix of Marvel 3 and Marvel Infinite, I would say, in terms of its movement and wild options. It is definitely the crazier of the two games from Arxis. In fact, I read that players in Japan have kind of, you know, they think it's maybe a little too wild and that it won't be competitive because it's like so crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely got that feel from it. Like, I've seen some tech that people have been finding already. It looks like one of those one reset you're dead kind of games situations, but I kind of like that.
Yeah.
I like the degenerate factor of the game. I like the fact that it's so kind of nuts that way. That's what I came out of it, is that I could tell that this game is going to be kind of crazy because the options that you do have, like, you can tag it in so that, you know, you have that mode where you can use both characters. But if you hold the button, the other character doesn't move, but they're also invincible.
It's Soulstorm.
Right, but they're invincible because in Soulstorm you can still hit them.
Right.
But in this one, you can just leave them invincible, let your guy be a shield, and then all of a sudden let go and attack with the other one. And if people get good at that, I just feel like, I feel like this game just, it is kind of like some people in the chat were saying open world. Like, it kind of like it is an open world fighting game. And I like the degenerateness of it. Like, and I don't say that it's a negative word, but I don't mean it in a negative sense. Because MVC2 was kind of a degenerate game. MVCI is kind of a degenerate game.
There's no kind of about it. Those games get wild.
Exactly. So I like that kind of factor about it. In fact, that was what surprised me the most about it. I thought calling assist and being able to change into the point character was brilliant. Like, I love that stuff. I love that tagging is really fast. You know what I mean? And to be honest with you, this and MVCI kind of illustrate, I guess, one of the problems that I did have with Cross Tekken, Street Fighter Cross Tekken, is that Street Fighter Cross Tekken, I guess I wanted more of the ability to see character switching a lot more. And in that game, you couldn't do, it was so dangerous. Like, there was no such thing as a raw tag, because the guy would die, you know, no matter what. And so with a lot of these other games, even Dragon Ball, you're just switching all over the place. And that's kind of what I like about tag games. You know what I mean? I've always wanted tag games to be crazier, which is why when MVCI came out and you could do stuff like that, I was already on board, like, right from the get-go. And so seeing that BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle was like that, and that there's like 7 ways to switch and like all these options. I was actually excited about that.
Yeah, man.
Really cool. And I want to sit down and lab it. Like I said, I just haven't had a chance to. So,
dude, I came up with some, and I also saw from some other people on Twitter, some stupid Tager setups. So he has constant magnetism. The opponent's always magnetized. He doesn't need to set it up. So you just have the ability to suck people in at all times. And he has a gadget finger, of course, for the reset, restand people. So he has setups where you get a knockdown, you get a combo, and then you do gadget finger, and then you assist switch.
Right.
So as he is laying the opponent down into a restand situation, you're doing some stupid stuff with whatever secondary character you have.
They gave your characters a restand, which is like your favorite thing.
It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. And it's like baked in,
Right.
So like the early obvious stuff is so nutty that it's definitely gonna get mega wild.
Crazier.
But we talked about the defensive stuff, and I think in a game where you have a burst that brings in the other character, I'm not that concerned about one touch. It's not one touch kills as far as I can tell, but one hit into a reset. That I think a lot of characters can probably kill. A lot of teams can probably kill. But that said, like the opponent's gonna have meter, or if they don't save it, that's their fault.
It's kind of like, again, like, sorry to keep making this comparison, but it's like the MVCI syndrome where it felt like, oh, look at all these high damage combos, but you always have the tag which forces the other guy to switch, and then all of a sudden you end the combo. So even though there's one touch reset situations in that game, you don't see it that often because of that. But so it's gonna be the same thing with cross tag battle. I will say the only thing that really confuses me is that for the longest of time, I thought the partner meter was my super meter, and that the super meter was the partner meter.
It's weird.
Because they put the partner meter as the little blue chunk at the bottom, and I was like, wait. But in my head, I was like, you know what? That kind of makes sense logically after I started learning the system, because that meter is more important. That meter is going to be way more important because that is your access to the burst mechanic. That is access to the ability to switch and call your
Soulstorm.
Call your teammates even during a combo. So when you're doing MVC, so it's not like MVC where you can just call the assist in the middle of stuff. That costs meter, right? So that meter is going to be more important, in my opinion, than the super meter.
Yeah, because you built meter, right, super meter pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly.
I really enjoyed playing Tager and Wald. They're two characters who I really enjoyed playing anyway in the games that they come from. But as a team, I think that they are strong and really interesting. I also really enjoyed playing New. She works out in a lot of the ways that I was hoping to. They gave her the assist that I'm happy about. They gave her like the sword approach, and they gave her gravity well, which are really, really good tools for helping the other character out. And I saw a lot of cool ideas playing online against people. Like people had really sick combos already using those two assists with New. I saw a lot of other characters out there, and it didn't seem like many of the characters were like wildly weaker in some way than other characters. I am a little bit worried about some. Because I feel like, the characters that they tended to pick, I think, for this game are characters who have some of the more wild options anyway in their respective games. So if you pick a character that doesn't have quite as wild options, I'm a little worried about some of those.
I'm sad that Hilda's not in it, to be honest with you.
Dude, same. Because I really enjoyed Hilda. That's who I ended up playing mostly in Under Night, not even Wald. I ended up playing mostly Hilda. But that said, there's enough options for me to be happy anyway. Like there's enough like wild fill the screen characters that I'm all right. And if she was in there, I mean, like some characters I feel like they're not going to put in because they would be too wild unless they were toned down in some way. And Hilda, I think, is kind of one of them. Like, I'd be worried about having, like, Shadow Labrys in, because that way you kind of have 3 characters. Like, I feel like there's...
I don't even know how they would make you control her, to be honest with you. It'd be wild stuff.
Have to be very different, Yeah, like Arcune is a good example. Probably not going to be in there because he's just...
too crazy.
Having some of his options on assist is just, I don't know how you make that work. And they got rid of all of the little, like, character-specific meters that many characters in BlazBlue and so forth have. So for example, Tager has in BlazBlue a little meter that gives him access to Spark Bolt when it's full.
Some people are even talking about puppet characters like Carl.
Puppet characters,
Chaos.
exactly.
Exactly that. Those guys don't need to be in the game.
Right. Yeah. Same idea as with Shadow Harvest, right? So all the characters are just based on the 2 meters we talked about, which means that characters that are like Arakune, once he gets all the bugs out, he wins, right? So what do you have to change him drastically.
Right,
if you're not gonna have the bug meter, how do you make that work at all? So I don't think that it's gonna happen, but even without those characters, there's enough, in my view, interesting enough characters, really fantastic offensive and defensive options. I really like the neutral game. I'm sitting there with Wald with my big old buttons, but because they picked the characters that they picked, I still have to worry about being whiff punished. You know? So as strong as he is, and as other characters I think are, it's not perfect. It's not, no character is perfect, which is great. Even Gordo, he's filling the screen with just gigantic stuff.
Grim Reaper.
Yeah, imagine Grim Reaper plus assist call for safety, right? You just think about it, you're like, oh my god. But that said, because they have enough movement options, and because there's push block, and because your own characters have stupid stuff, that stuff kind of balances out. Tager's sledgehammer is an assist of his. He comes out and this guy, right? He has armor on it. If I thought that there was going to be a Gordo fill the screen with crap, I call my assist Tager to just bust through him.
Does it have infinite armor? Is it hyper armor?
I think it's like infinite guard point even. It's not actually armor. It's like KOF guard point.
Jesus.
So he's just in there, and then I tag cancel, and now I am Tager.
Right.
Right. So it's just so there's ways to get around the crazy crap. So I'm really excited for the game. I had a blast playing it. Even just a month ago, a week ago, I wasn't thinking about the game at all.
Right.
It was something that I knew would come out, and I thought it was kind of silly that it was getting more entrants at EVO than some other games, and I was like, Now I am super hyped for it, honestly.
That's cool. I mean, my biggest problem for me, and this is just a personal issue, there's 2 things that I'm really worried about the game, right? One is that, for me personally, this has nothing to do with anybody else or any quality of the game. None of the characters that I played are in the game.
Man, there's so many fun characters.
Somehow I got bodied in this situation. So I was just like, wait, what the heck? What the heck? Obviously, Under Night is the one that I played the most, because I barely played BlazBlue. I barely played Persona, right? I guess Naoto is in the game, and I did play a little bit of Naoto in there, but she didn't even end up playing how I wanted her to play. I wanted her to be new, shooting stuff all over the screen, which is not what she did.
Definitely not.
But Nanase obviously is not in there, and then in BlazBlue, Taokaka, Lychee, neither of them are in there, and so for some other reason they just skipped all my characters. So I'm still trying to decide who I want to play, but it's probably going to be the one character that I really wanted to learn in BlazBlue was Hazama. So I might learn Hazama in this game, and then some rumored DLC characters look appealing to me if someone like Merkava ends up in the game, or because I want a Unio character on my team.
Okay.
But it's just Hyde.
Boring.
Boring. And Waldstein, I mean, he's
sick.
Carmine, maybe Carmine,
happens. Of course, there's a leak list of characters.
Right, we'll talk about that a little bit later. But Aurier, I'm okay with Aurier. Gordo, Merkava, I mean, he's the cutest monster in all the fighting games.
Sick.
Yeah, Batista might be kind of interesting. Yuzuriha was a character I kind of wanted to use, so I might just check her out.
She could be really good. I could see her being good in this game.
Yeah, and then maybe Mika, as they said, but I like I said, I have no real association with that character. So.
Well, I think it's an interesting thing to say that we, who is this? Eric Man says that is kind of a blessing, because you don't have to worry about your muscle memory.
Yeah.
I just kind of briefly touched on it, but there are only 3 attack buttons.
Right.
Right? And so for games that have more attack buttons than that, you have to kind of get rid of some of your character's normals. So Tager doesn't have some of the same buttons. Waldstein doesn't have some of the same buttons. They don't have some of the same special moves that they used to have. Combo routes are all different.
Right.
There's a lot of really different stuff. And I, certainly for the first day I was playing, it was weird to try to anti-air with Tager to A this.
Oh, that's his anti-air move.
Now it's to A, right? It's just things that you know, you get used to, but it's not like you come into it thinking that it's going to work out like that. And for Tager, his stand B is now sledge, which is a special move before. Like, like it's not this big, you know, huge normal that it used to be. So it's very different.
Right.
I am not opposed to that. I'm cool with it being its own game. Like but it did take me a little while to get used to that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of brought up the other concern that I have is, you know, one of the reasons why I had trouble playing Persona, just didn't feel like there was enough buttons. I just didn't feel like enough attack buttons. It was literally A, B, and then 2 Persona buttons, right? But still, at least, you know, once you started going, you had buttons and they were part of, you chained into them and stuff like that. Obviously, the one thing that I'm worried about personally about BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle is the smart combos. I'm just not a fan of it. Like, I don't like it.
Like just auto combos.
Yeah,
Are they called smart combos?
Yeah, they're called smart combos in the game. I'm not a fan of that stuff. I feel like that kind of detracts a little bit from the gameplay, and so many of the moves are hidden behind chains. You know what I mean? I already felt this kind of a problem a little bit with Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball definitely.
Right? Like, I feel like I'm missing normals. I need more normals sometimes, and that's another one of those situations that I haves or have-nots. If you're, you know, adult Gohan and your buttons just launch you clear across the screen, and then meanwhile you're Ginyu and you're just like, hi, I'm really sad.
And just doing some of these.
Yeah, exactly. You're just kind of sad, right? Yeah. So I just feel like, and just in general, like, I feel like that kind of takes away from the fun of doing stuff. Now, as I was playing it, I was still finding some interesting combos because they let you do cool things. Like with Ragnar, I was doing like A, B, B into the fireball, and they would bounce off it. Then you can do B, B into fireball again, and they'd bounce off of it. Then you could launch them with A, and go up the air combo and do the stuff. But like, even the air combos felt really limited. I didn't feel like there was really much I could do outside of A, B into like some finisher or something like that. And, you know, obviously it's going to change once you start learning how to throw the assists into everything.
For sure.
That's where the creativity is going to come from, is the assists. So the creativity on solo combos, I think, are going to not be particularly strong. But once you start getting into the tag, I think that's what really makes it interesting. That's what gets me excited.
That makes sense to me.
And, but again, just in terms of, I mean, you know how I am with the execution and stuff like that. So, you know, just having auto combos be the predominant. I mean, it's literally auto combo, auto combo, auto combo, auto combo.
I did find a tough walled combo, which was BB, B, then crouching B. And the timing to actually get the crouching B to be a real combo is super tight.
Yeah.
So I mean, like I don't think that it's not no execution.
Right. It's less about the timing. It's just that because you have such a limited initial set of buttons, you don't get that kind of creativity that you get from other games. Like, oh, you know what? I need a faster move that hits in this direction.
For sure.
But in this game, you only have one fast button.
Okay. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, and then you only have one middle button, and then you have these crouching buttons, and that's it. But like in other games, like I have this, I have back this, I have forward this, I have offensive crouch this, I can have all these options. And so when you get into a combo situation where you're like, this is the button that I need, in a lot of other games you could find that button, and I don't think you're gonna do that in this one, but again, your solution is not find that button, your solution is tag.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
go into the other character, find the right characters that will balance each other. And in a way, like I said, I think that's good because that emphasizes the teamwork.
Yeah.
You know, and that emphasizes the ability to have team synergy. Like this game, I feel like might have some of the best team synergy of them all.
Yeah.
Like Dragon Ball team synergy is like
exists, but
same thing with Cross Tekken. The team synergy is there, but it's not like crazy, right? But Marvel 3 had really good team synergy. I think MVCI has really good team synergy. But this game, I almost feel like this game will be like synergy up the butt. Like,
it's like
you gotta have the characters that will help each other really,
it's
really
like Marvel
well.
Infinite in that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No, I mean, I really feel that it's like a Marvel game, even in combos. I mean, if you think about a Marvel game, many characters' combos are auto combo launch, then you knock them down. Unless you have assists to do cool stuff.
Right.
I mean, some have others, you know, relaunches and I mean, that stuff exists for sure. But for many characters, it's the basic stuff. Unless you have a partner to help you out. So
except in MVCI, which kind of has the opposite problem, that everything works. and leads to 6,000 damage.
Well, yeah.
But that's a whole different story.
That's a different story.
So,
but yeah, anyway, I do think that it's very Marvel-y. I am super happy about it. I can't wait to play it more.
I was definitely much more surprised than I thought I was going to be. I had a lot of reservations going into the game that it was going to be super basic, kind of like, I don't know, I haven't tried it yet, but like SNK Heroines seems like it's going to be fairly simple, straightforward kind of game. I thought it was going to be kind of like that, like designed to be really simple. But then I just saw all the mechanics, all the tag stuff, all the crazy stuff, and I'm like, there's no way this game is being designed to be simple and straightforward. It's not a beginner-friendly, try to be beginner-friendly game.
It's definitely
because it is way too crazy.
Definitely
and
not.
Like I said, it will be, and again, in the most positive way possible, it will be a degenerate kind of game, and that will never be very beginner-friendly.
Yeah, and maybe not as popular as some other games, but that's the kind of that I feel like I've been missing. Like I was just talking about this last week, how I've really been missing playing Marvel Infinite. I really like the game, and so I went home and I did play a bunch of Marvel Infinite. Well, in training mode at least. Nobody was on ranked, and my friends can't play in the morning when I have time to play. So it just didn't work out. But it was super fun just to be in training mode. And then BlazBlue.
Oh, the game has no cross-up protection, huh? Dang. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, here's a cool thing. I harassed somebody so badly in neutral with Wald and Tager, because Tager as assist is just throwing spark bolts. Like it's crazy, dude. There is a lot of startup on it.
It gives you a fireball, big.
It's a wall bounce fireball from anywhere that busts through projectiles. It's crazy.
It beats other projectiles.
Yeah, okay, and by the way, Wald, this thing also beats projectiles. So you can't zone me. Anyway, so I harassed somebody so badly that they sat still as I did assist call with Tager to bring out Sparkbolt, and I did super jump air dash with Wald, and I got cross up Sparkbolt in mid screen with no setup at all. They were just I'm worried, and then I was like this big, huge dude floating overhead. Oh, it was so sick. What a feeling. And
that is why, like I said, when I played the game, I got really excited about it, because it feels like the ability, and this is, I'm just going to say it, the craziness, the wildness to it, the tag system, all that stuff, feels like the game is going to be very creative.
Yes.
And it's going to be very sick.
Yes. As I said on the Facebook, I have been saying these exact words about the game in public on Twitter.
Okay.
Saying almost verbatim what I said about Marvel Infinite. In fact, I literally looked up a tweet that I said about Marvel Infinite. Back from when it was shown, and I was saying things like, oh wow, it's super creative and very free. And I almost word for word reproduced that tweet about this game, and I got none of the crap. I got none of the flack. Those are both... Really? No way! Those are sincerely held beliefs about both games. I really like both of them.
Yeah,
I mean, we'll see how BlazBlue ends up. I mean, obviously, it's not full out. We'll see what the final release is.
Right.
But as it is, I really like it for almost exactly the same reasons.
Dude, it's creative and it's sick. It is.
It is. It's, by the way, has character art from 2008 in there. It's very clashing art, right? Like, Ragna doesn't look like you at all. Like, they're, you know what I mean? Like, even though they're both main character sword guy, they just are clearly not from the same game.
Right.
So graphically, it is no tour de force, friends.
Right.
But, hey, there's none of the crap about it. So it's just, man, poor Marvel.
Yeah.
Poor Marvel.
Pretty much. It's just at that point in time, yeah, dude. Let's be arcs as shills. Someone already called me a shill for promoting Unist.
Okay. Well, yeah, you're getting a ton of money from Under Night in Birth EXE latest.
I was like, wow, okay. Yeah. Someone called me a shill for telling people to buy Unist. And so now we can just keep it going. We can be the arcs. Dude, I've been shilling Guilty Gear for years now.
That's true.
Right, so that's it. We're official Arxis Shields, and you know what? I could not be more proud to be an Arxis Shield. I will say that much.
It's a really good game.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I do hope that there will be. Sorry, Mike. This headphone cable is tied up in all of my stuff, which is why I'm looking down. Ugh. But like, I'm really excited for this game, and I do hope that they maybe tone down the damage a little bit. Like, I think this game would be pretty sick I think this game would be more sick and creative if the damage was lower because of just how degenerate it might get, and so that way you can pull off like 5 degenerate things per round. I think that would be fun.
All right.
You know what I mean? Just like leave the game, like instead of toning the characters down, give people more health, so that you could do more sick and degenerate things more often in one round, and then have it just go like that. You know, I think that would be a fun way to do that.
That makes sense. I'm not opposed to the damage. I think it's okay, again, considering that there's a burst basically, and it's not like tied to a very slow meter kind of thing. It's like a your little
how fast does that partner meter build?
I mean, it's not mega fast, but like I've gotten it 3 times in a round. You know, I mean, it's doable. There's everybody has a DP. Right? It's just A plus D.
Right. It's Persona style.
Right. There's no motion to it. And Waldstein's is half screen. I'm just doing it, dude.
You said that's the new opening.
Clapping.
That's the new opening, right?
It was working on day 1.
Okay.
By day 2, it already wasn't working.
Right. Well, here's another question, though. How, like, again, everybody mad at MVCI for no uppercut motions in this game.
Yeah.
I mean, has that bothered you at all?
Oh, I don't care either way. You know,
right.
It doesn't matter. It is like Persona. It's like Dragon Ball. Like that's the way it's more common nowadays.
Right.
And who cares?
And it's so funny too, because I still think down is a worse motion
I don't like it.
than uppercut.
Yeah.
So it's so weird, but it's in all the games now. It's in Unio. But then again, Unio uses down because they run out of inputs. Like, because everybody just says ABC. So you have quarter circle forward, quarter circle back, uppercut, and down for most of the characters.
Yeah.
So.
By the way, I also really like that when you do a DP, you can't burst out of the combo.
Oh yeah. Because that.
Nice.
That's. Oh wait, when you hit someone with the DP.
If you do a DP and it's blocked and you get punished, you're stuck. That character's eating the damage.
Yeah.
That's the high stakes game, dude. And
but that's cheap though. I think having invincible DPs ruins the game. You know, because just having it makes you so scared to do anything whenever I attack you DP and whenever I don't attack you don't DP. So broken.
Oh my gosh.
Even though you can punish them and kill them for that, invincible DPs, so broken.
You sure can.
Worst thing everybody. I don't know how everybody's dealt with it for 25 years.
Well, you know what? They're going to have to deal with it in this game too. I also like that when you call an assist, assists take a ton of damage when they get hit. Like, they really get their butts kicked. And happy birthdays are very easy to maintain.
Yeah. It's not like Dragon Ball where they just fall out randomly.
Not at all. So if I got too happy with calling Sparkbolt assist, Tager died, like, a lot.
Oh, really?
A lot.
Oh, okay. Even Tager
with all of his health. So,
I
mean, obviously that means I have to play differently. I can't just be doing Sparkbolt constantly. Fair enough. It's pretty good. But it does mean that there's a lot of risk to a lot of things, and as strong as the options are, you do have to worry about the downside. So I really like the balancing of it.
Yeah. Again, it's another one of those games that just feels like they've done a lot of good thinking about how to make the balance work in this game through the game systems. It's what I love about Unio so much, Unist, right? I just feel like the game did such a good job with the systems. Enough offensive systems, enough negative systems. I mean, I know we're talking about MVCI and Street Fighter in jokey ways, but Street Fighter 5 could certainly use a new defensive mechanic. MVCI maybe could probably use at least one more defensive mechanic, kind of situation. And that's what's good about this, is I do like the fact that it's a good resource management. And that's another aspect of one of my favorite aspects of fighting games is resource management. And so, if you use the burst or if you use push block, you got to think about the meter that you're using and how it could have been used in other ways. And they give you enough things to do with the meter that it's like MK style, like MK, how the meter management was super important in that game. it's one of my favorite things about the NRS games is the meter management is like one of the most interesting meter managements of fighting games. So.
Agreed, man. Yeah, of course there's a bug. It's just a beta demo thing. I'm not too worried about that stuff. It's
bugs
whatever.
Or whatever, yeah. And you know what? Even when the game comes out, there will be bugs.
There will be bugs.
And they will find the bugs, and it doesn't have anything to do with the fact that they're bad devs or that they didn't test the game. You make a fighting game, and you tell me if you could make the game without bugs. When you have 30 characters with all these crazy moves and interactions, it's like people who've never programmed just don't understand why these things can happen. So bugs will be there. Trust me.
Yeah, it's all
They're just going to be there.
Anyway, great game. I really, really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to it coming out. It comes out in the US on, I think, June 5th, and I think in Japan on May 30th.
Okay. I'm actually more excited for EVO's BlazBlue tag, cross tag battle now that I've played the game.
Oh, dude, for sure.
Because I want to see the crazy stuff.
It's going to be crazy. And
I want to see it so badly now.
Yeah. Like, especially, so I briefly touched on the fact that people in Japan are kind of poo-pooing the game a little bit, thinking that it's kusoge and it's whatever.
Right, yeah.
That's fine. Like, you know, I mean, Marvel... I feel like Marvel players will really enjoy it, and players. I mean, there is crossover already between anime games and Marvel games. Like, there's already some crossover, but I feel like this is the kind of game that should get a lot of crossover even more.
And even as kusogi as it is, it's nothing like fighting EX Layer. Like that game,
different story.
Right.
Sure.
Fighting EX Layer is about as kusogi as you could possibly get, right? But this game, I don't even think is on that level. So. Okay. Yeah.
I like it a lot. It's cool.
Yeah.
Talk about it more when it comes out. I mean,
it's still. I don't know. Are they gonna like delete it off my machine, or can I still just play it? Right. So I can still play it. So I'm probably just gonna at one point in time hook up my pad on there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can do the 2-player thing with Yukiko because I don't think that's allowed on the Switch demo. I don't think you can do versus mode on the Switch demo.
Wow, okay.
And again, this is something I tweeted about, and I get it. They're trying to test the servers.
Yeah.
But I just don't get why they don't put training modes in demos. It's just like how you are going to hook your core audience that much better, right? Without detracting from the casual audience, because the casual audience is still going to be able to play it the same way, and you're going to hook your core audience. The question is, are they worried that people are going to find broken tactics and just already be on this demo destroying people and making people feel bad? Because that's happening anyway.
It's happening anyway.
And two, I'm spending all of my time in the tutorial anyway, so I'm not testing online anyway. You know what I mean? Because I just want to test things.
Yeah.
So, you know, Exer's demo had training modes, and that thing was fantastic.
That's good.
Street Fighter V didn't have a training mode.
Right.
Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite didn't have a training mode.
Street Fighter V didn't even have versus mode, right? Wasn't it only online in the betas?
Yeah, it was only online. So, like, I get it. I understand why they don't have training modes, but God, just forget it. Just put it in there because everyone's gonna figure out a way.
I agree, man.
Yukiko sitting there healing herself all day. You know what I mean? So, because someone even released a video how they showed that you could like use the accessibility options and turn the second controller into a pedal with the touchpad. And I never understood what the point of that was. I was like, why would you want to do that? Until I learned about the Yukiko trick. And so you could just hit it with your foot and give her all her health back and then keep fighting and then hit it with your foot and stuff. Just like genius.
That makes a lot of sense.
Genius.
Yeah. Some people wanted us to talk about the online system. Yeah, it's basically the Dragon Ball system, which is, I don't know, is that the same that Guilty Gear is? I never played Guilty Gear online, and I played only a little bit of BlazBlue online. Guilty
Gear is a little different. You don't do anything in that actual lobby area. When you play against someone, you actually have to go and create rooms.
Okay.
And then there's a small room with little arcade machines, and the little guys can run around and kick a soccer ball around and stuff like that.
Are those private lobbies versus public lobbies? Is that what we're talking about?
Well, they can be private lobbies. I think you can also set up so anybody can join as well. So,
but it's not like you need to sign into a room that only has 64 maximum people.
You do. You still have that.
It's
still that way. It is still that way. Although, if you do ranked, they avoid that. They ignore the 64 rooms in ranked mode.
Yeah.
You can end up fighting anybody anywhere. But if it's just casual lobbies, you can only play the people that are in that server.
Terrible system.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it either.
I feel like it's built. I feel like the people who made that expected nobody to play their game. Like they expected the system to be so unpopular that the fact that there were only 64 people who could be online wasn't the problem.
Right.
I hate it. I hate it in Dragon Ball.
I mean, I like the idea of it. I love the visual lobbies. I love the concept of it. I just don't like the implementation of it. I don't like the limited to 64 people in one server kind of thing. But that's a problem because you have to limit it that way if you have the visual thing, because otherwise you'll have 500 people wandering around. It's just gonna be
like when you're in the lobby. You actually stand physically. Your little dude stands physically on top of a little versus area, and somebody else has to physically walk into it and challenge you.
So it's kind of like a combination between the Dragon Ball and the Guilty Gear Small Room, because the Guilty Gear Small Room you had to walk up to an arcade cabinet to actually challenge somebody. It's
such a dumb idea. It's like anyway. I have nothing. I have very little positive to say about the online experience.
Right.
That said, when I played against people online, I played against people with 2 and 3 bar connections, and it was actually okay.
Okay,
That's not to say that it is for everybody. I know that that's been the case for Dragon Ball, for example, that people have wildly different experiences with it. For me, it tends to be okay. And for me, again, in BlazBlue Cross Tag, it tended to be okay. But it's certainly not great netcode.
Yeah, it's not an archaic idea because it's new.
It's just a bad idea.
It's not really archaic. It's just not very good. So yeah, it's an unfortunate situation because then that way you don't have access to the world of everybody playing the game. You only have access to those 64 people.
That's
in
it.
Your room. Yeah.
And somebody, like, you know, you're in there with a character. So like I'm standing on that little thing with my Ragna for a while, and then I got enough money to buy, you know, Tager and whatever. And so I'm this huge Tager standing on a thing, announcing to everybody, I'm gonna play Tager. Hey, check it out. If you don't want to play against me, and you're probably not gonna, then walk away.
Well, see, that's why you got to put him back to Ragnar.
I guess I will. I just think that's
like in Dragon Ball. I run around as Chaozu, dude. I'm
Cyberman.
I'm just running around as Chaozu. So. Man.
Anyway.
Yeah, and again, one of the biggest problems, obviously, is that ArcSys is still developing their online based on Japanese infrastructure, based off of a smaller country, based off of actual decent internet infrastructure, and that's always going to be a problem. So,
yeah, we live in California. I had good connections, but I'm sure that's not the case for many, many people.
Exactly.
Alrighty, I guess that's about it for BB Tag. I really liked it, but we'll talk about it more when it comes out in about a month, a little bit less than a month.
Exactly. Like I said, I mean, I'm going to try and mess with it a little bit more.
Half a month.
And we'll see how it goes. So I just got to figure out a way to mess with new characters and not in a versus mode. I wonder if there's a way to set the computer to like be completely stupid and sit there and not and just stand there and not attack or something like that.
I don't know, man.
We'll see. Okay.
All right, here we go.
Oh, that's right. And they said that there was going to be a demo where they were going to open up training mode, I thought, or something like that. But I'm not sure. So.
All right. Well, we should move on. We spent a lot of time on this.
Okay.
It's a good game, though.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Do you want to do a break, or do you want to just talk about the Summit of Power thing right now?
Yeah, let's take a break, and then we'll talk about other events after that.
Okay. All right. Cool. We'll be right back, guys.